story, didn't care who he'd once been. To them, he was just another face, a stranger trying to get into a funeral where only officers and family were allowed. But to him, the man being buried was more than a general, he was the brother he'd never had. "Sir, this service is for family and invited guests only," the guard repeated, his tone firm but polite. The single dad veteran, Daniel Hayes, nodded slowly, his jaw tightening as he looked past the gate toward the procession of uniforms and flags. His boots were still caked with the dust of deployments that no one remembered anymore. "I understand, son," he said quietly. "But I need just 1 minute. Please." The younger guard hesitated, glancing at Daniel's weathered face. But protocol was protocol. He shook his head. "I'm sorry, sir. Orders." Daniel swallowed hard. He wasn't one to beg. Not after everything he'd been through. Iraq, Afghanistan, losing his wife, raising his daughter alone. And now, the one man who'd stood by him through every mission, General William Ironheart Cole, was being laid to rest, and Daniel wasn't even allowed to say goodbye. He turned to leave, shoulders heavy, when a soft voice broke through the drizzle. "Dad." It was his 10-year-old daughter, Lily, holding a small bouquet of white roses. She'd saved up her allowance to buy them. "We can still say goodbye from here," she said, her eyes wide and innocent. Daniel forced a smile and knelt beside her. "Yeah, sweetheart, we can." He placed a trembling hand over the flag, whispering, "You deserved better, brother." Just then, an officer approached the gate, looking flustered. "Who's that man?" he asked the guards. "Not on the list, sir," one replied. The officer squinted. "That's Hayes, Staff Sergeant Daniel Hayes. Wait here." He rushed back toward the funeral area, radio in hand. Moments later, chaos rippled through the ceremony. A line of generals stood under the canopy, their medals glinting in the gray light. But one man, a towering figure with 4 gleaming stars on his shoulders, suddenly stepped forward, raising his hand. The honor guard froze mid-step. The bugler stopped playing. Every movement came to a halt. The 4-star general, General Marcus Street. John, turned toward the entrance, eyes locked on the soaked man outside the gate. His voice thundered across the silence. "Let that man through." Every head turned. The guards instantly straightened and opened the gate. Daniel stood frozen for a moment, stunned, before General Street. John himself began walking toward him through the rain. "Sir," Daniel started, but the general cut him off. "You think we'd bury my best friend without the man who saved his life in Kandahar?" His voice cracked just slightly. "The general's final request was that you carry his flag." The air grew thick. Even the guards bowed their heads. Lily's small hand slipped into her father's. "Go on, Dad," she whispered. Daniel walked forward slowly, boots splashing through puddles, every step echoing years of sacrifice. The soldiers around him stood at attention, saluting as he passed. The rain kept falling, but no one moved to cover him. It felt like even the heavens stood still in respect. As Daniel reached the casket, he placed the folded flag gently atop it. "You always said we'd meet again, brother," he murmured, his voice breaking. "Guess this is as close as I can get for now." General Street. John stepped beside him, hand firm on Daniel's shoulder. "You've done enough for this country. It's time it did something for you." After the service, the general approached Lily, kneeling so their eyes met. "Your dad's a hero, young lady," he said softly. "Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise." Lily smiled shyly. "I know, sir. He's my hero every day." The general chuckled, then stood and turned to Daniel. "Your family now, Sergeant. Always were." As they walked away together, the sun finally broke through the clouds. The flag on the coffin fluttered gently in the breeze, glowing in the new light. Later that night, Daniel sat on his porch, watching Lily chase fireflies in the yard. The folded flag rested beside him. He thought about the years of loss, the loneliness, the countless times he'd felt forgotten. But today, something had changed. He realized that honor wasn't about medals or recognition, it was about love, loyalty, and never walking away when someone needed you most. He looked at the camera, his eyes wet but burning with quiet strength. "If you're watching this," he said softly, "and you've ever felt like the world's forgotten you, remember this. Someone out there still remembers your service, your sacrifice, your heart. You're not invisible. You're the reason this country still stands." He smiled faintly. "If that meant something to you, share it. Like the video. Subscribe. Because maybe, just maybe, someone else needs to hear this tonight.